Hey guys, Gareth97 again. This time with a review of the 144th scale high-grade Universal Century Dreissen Double Zeta Gundam version from the Double Zeta Gundam series. And it looks quite different from the Unicorn version. Of course, first of all, the colors are completely different rather than the subdued grays. We now have a very vibrant 80s purple for almost the entire mobile suit. Then we have a kind of bluish green or greenish blue here on the backpack as well, and various other little details all over the mobile suit. Then we have an orangey red for the cockpit, the face, the chin slash beard thing going on, or maybe even a nose. It's under the eyes, so it could be all of the above. And also here on the feet. Then the yellow is kinda, well, it's not really vibrant yellow, it's like a sun-shaded yellow, and we also have that on the Beam Lancer, the handheld weapon. And then we also have a very light gray for the joints. This does seem to be somewhat lighter than the gray we usually get. Then onto stickers, and for the most part they're okay, but some of them really shouldn't have been stickers. Starting off with these big ones here, and those go on the hand covers. Yeah, those totally should have been parts. No matter what you say, no matter what the excuse is, those should have been parts. And the biggest problem with these hands is these hand covers are molded together with the top half of the hand, whereas the other hands actually have their hand covers molded separately. So, well, if you want to use these hands, you might just want to paint them. But then again, they don't look horrible, but once again, they seem to be just a bit too short, which is something that seems to be going on with these stickers lately. And you know, here once again, like a fraction of a millimeter too short, and here also a little bit too short. Then another sticker that kind of bothers me, but you know, there's no real other way around it. The yellow ones up here, they just don't really line up. Once again, they seem to be just a bit too short, because we have a nice line in the middle and another nice line in the middle here. So yeah, I would recommend leaving those off. But now onto the stickers that do actually make sense. We have a yellow one here, more yellow on the back, 4 of these round ones. We have a purple one underneath that red headband, like right there. That is a sticker. Then turning him back around, we of course have black in the back. We have a black sticker at the bottom of his chin slash beard slash nose. And actually, we do not just get one mono eye, we get 3 of them. And as of course, in case you want to move the mono eye, well, move as in replace the sticker, you peel that one off, and in case you know, the sticker doesn't stick anymore or you ruin it, you still have 3 spare ones. And then, oh yeah, we have these 2 yellow ones here, which should go on the sides. Unfortunately, there isn't anything to tell you where those stickers are supposed to go. So if you want to paint, that might be a bit more tricky. Same goes for the Neo Zeon insignia here. It's not molded on the model kit, which kind of baffles me. When we look at the Doben Wolf, his insignia is actually molded in there. You know, they could have at least given us an outline as a panel line, or do it in a 3D way like they did with the Doben Wolf, but no, you just slap on the sticker. So if you want to paint, you're gonna have to work around that with masking and stuff. So it's just a bit more of a nuisance than it should be. So yeah, overall the stickers, not too bad, but well, we can't forgive these ones because, well, we're getting other hands, and you're probably gonna want to use those when we look at the accessories later on. Now, the final difference between this model kit and the Unicorn version, the most obvious one is, of course, we do not get those very exquisite detailings on his sleeves and on his torso here. Another smaller difference, something you might not have noticed otherwise, is that the Unicorn version doesn't have this hose here. You know, technology advances, and I guess they didn't need that hose, or they were able to integrate it into the inner frame. Oh, how technology advances. And now on to the articulation of this mobile suit, and unfortunately, the bulk is a giveaway. The head, little bit up and down, has somewhat of a chicken movement, but, you know, That's really all it's gonna give you. A little bit left and right, and you can technically extend the head just a little bit so that it's kinda, you know, like resting on the ball joint rather than really being connected to it. And then you can get it to turn around a bit more, you know, like, there we go. Like this. So if you want him to be somewhat more articulate, you know, you're kind of gonna have to decapitate him. Let's get it back on there we go. As you can see, that is a very solid connection. And the arms rotate around all the way. And actually, there's a joint here. Goes upwards like that. And then upwards like that. And you know, this flap here, of course, also goes up and down to give it that little bit extra articulation. Of course, also backwards and forwards just a bit, not as much as other mobile suits, but hey, like I said, the bulk is a giveaway. Rotates around below the shoulder, elbow molded at, articulate at only one joint, and it seems to give a bit more than 90 degrees, which is not bad for a single elbow joint. Then hands on ball joints will wiggle around, turn around, and do everything a ball joint does. The waist is on a ball joint, so a little forwards, a little bit backwards, some wiggle, and rotates about this far. Any further, and it... You know, when I tried this off camera, that happened. So I guess if you're careful, you can get him to turn around 360 without popping off. Then these side skirts are at the same time impressive and kind of disappointing. They are actually molded separately, but they don't really go up all that far. And the legs, if you want, you know, because of the design of this front skirt, the legs have to go up like that, so you know, they're kind of at an angle, but then again, they do go up rather nicely considering his front skirts don't really move upwards all that much, then backwards about that far. And when you look at the design of this, outwards not quite as much. We also have the usual swivel joint here with the hole in his butt to stick him on an action base. And closing that up again. The knee is... Ooh, that didn't sound too good. Let's go on. The knee is joint... The knee only has one joint. That cracking sound kinda threw me off there. But back to the knee. It only has one joint, unfortunately. But then again, when you look at the way the legs are designed, you know, they're quite bulky. So even if it was a second joint, it probably wouldn't have helped that much anyways. And still, you know... It's quite a bulky machine. Then the feet are on a double joint. We have the usual hinge at the top, ball joint at the bottom. So forwards a bit, backwards a bit, rotates around all the way, and somewhat side to side. So overall, that means that articulation is somewhat below average. But then again, this is one of the small kids that doesn't really need articulation to stand out, even though it's technically a close-range mobile suit. You know, something you totally wouldn't be able to tell unless you look at the one accessory that gives it away. Talking about accessories, let's get immediately on with those. And let's start with what's on the kit. Those triple beam cannons, because yes, they're not just Gatling guns, they're actually beam cannons. And that's the wrong part of the sleeve that should come off. It should be the top half. There we go. And what you do is you simply pull it off. You can see that this here will connect to the arm. You have two slots where it goes in, and then you just line it up, slide it in there, and there you go. Simple, yet very effective. And then another thing you're getting are 3 of these tri-blades. And these are the stored ones, and then you also get 3 of these active ones. And basically what he does is he kind of throws them, and they have a little thruster, and they go towards the enemy mobile suit. As you know, he can technically hold them in his hand, kinda, if you don't wiggle it around too much. And what you can also do with these is, according to the manual, there are these hoses. You know, you get 3 transparent plastic hoses with the HGUC. Of Quest or Guna's version, they both come with them, and you can actually use them with these. So you simply stick it in here and then the other end in here, and then they kind of look like they're flying off. So let's put these to the side, and let's say that you don't want to use these tri-blades, or you want to use the active ones and you got to get rid of these somehow. Well, we get this, and you know, if you remember, this was something they did for only a few model kits. They gave you this thing that's actually on the runners, the D2 plate, and you can use this to store spare parts. So you can put these tri-blades on there. Unfortunately, the open ones will not store on here. I tried it, but their connection is somewhat different. They won't store on here and not on the other side either. So, you know, they gave you this very nifty thing, but it can't store everything, you know. Why not just include a few extra? Ah well, let's put that aside. And now let's start looking at the other accessories. First of all, what makes this machine a close combat oriented machine is, of course, the Beam Tomahawk and the Beam Lancer. And they come with very nice, clear effect parts. You know, you have this very nice one for the beam Tomahawk, and then this small beam for the Beam Lancer, and they combine together to form a Beam Naginata Spear Tomahawk combo thing. But it's very, very awesome. And of course, I should mention that these two do not, well, you cannot combine them. They're of course just, you know, two separate things. So let's quickly put these to the side. And the cool thing is they actually kind of show you how they can, you know, you have this little line here, and that is where they would technically combine. And then you put this in here. And the best news of it all is when we grab the hand here, it's a close combat mobile suit, and he can hold on to his weapon perfectly. You know, you have those, when you put it on the thick parts, you won't have any problem at all holding it. And that is of course very important for a close range mobile suit, that he can actually use his accessory. It does seem to be a bit wobbly all of a sudden, but he's at least not gonna drop it. So let's get rid of these horrible sticker hands and put in the accessory he should use. Let's put that in there, and there we go. That is a very nice looking thing, you know, very nicely detailed. You have that little beam, you know, kind of, that is really emitting it. I really like this effect there. So put that there. And another cool thing you can do is, if you have any other normal beam blades, these are the standard High-Grade Universal Century ones, you can actually put them in there too. So if you want to make this Beam Naginata even longer, you can do so. Or the other way around, if you, for example, want to make one of your normal beam sabers look like a beam dagger, you can use this small beam saber effect part with the normal beam sabers. Or if you want to make it look like the beam is about to run out of energy or something like that, you can use that with a normal beam saber. So that is really nice. So those are the accessories the normal Dreissen should come with. But since this is of course a remold of the Unicorn version, we also get those accessories. Meaning we're getting the bazooka, and we have a movable handle, another movable handle, scope also moves up and down. So we remove this horrible hand and replace it with an awesome beam bazooka. Click it in there, there we go. And yeah, they call this a close combat mobile suit. And when we turn around, that's still not all we're getting, because now we're getting a few option parts that you can choose from. We get this part here, which is for the heat sword, which of course looks very familiar if you know the DOM. Simply slides in there and sits in there really securely. It's not gonna fall out. Or it is. Some things just go different when you're doing it on camera. I could have sworn that thing stuck when I did it off camera. Just don't hold it upside down. And when we put it in the hand, reverse engineering sometimes works out, but sometimes doesn't. So let's rip this apart and give the Dreissen a more retro look. And then we just put it on there. And there we go. And fortunately, once again, no problem at all holding on to the heat saber. So it looks like the retro engineering also worked out for Bandai. And then let's remove this. And now we, of course, have to store the beam Naginata. And for that, we're getting yet another connector. Simply click it on one of the thin spots. Snap it goes, and we put that on there. So that's a storage rack for the beam Naginata, and then we get yet another one for the bazooka. And we simply put that on like that. Let's quickly remove the bazooka. There we go. Pretend the hand isn't there, and then that simply goes on there. And what I really like about this is that part that's used for mounting, it doesn't really look like it's a peg that says, this is a plastic model and this is the peg we had to include in order to put it on the model. It just looks like it's part of the actual bazooka, not something that's, added for a model kit or a toy or anything. So that's always something really awesome. And even though the manual doesn't specify it, what you can, of course, do if you want to mount all of the things on there, simply put this on there, and then you can mount all of the accessories on the back. You will have to, of course, sacrifice those tri-blades, but you can do it. And that's always really nice when your mobile suit can mount all of the accessories. And when we remove these, they will also store on the extra part. So all three of those extra holding pieces will go on this holding piece. A lot of holding pieces here. But then, of course, you can store the tri-blades, if you want to put them in active. So it's a nice thing, but, there are still a few flaws. So I can see why you wouldn't want to use this and simply put your parts in a plastic Ziploc bag or a box or something else. I'm kind of starting to see why they stopped doing this. But back to this guy. And as always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? And for 2,000 yen, I think this is definitely a nice price value thing going on here. 2,000 yen might sound quite expensive for a high grade, and you could give it some flack for the lower articulation, but it's got that very nice double Zeta era bulk about it, and it's also a very big high grade. So when you factor in all that stuff, it looks really nice. It's got that great bulk about it. It's got nice accessories and, that kind of storage thing that's kind of nice and cute. It's overall a very good deal. You have a lot of play value going on. You have the you have the triple beam cannons, you have those tri-blades, you have the bazooka, you have the Naginata that can combine, you have the heat sword, and hey, if you have a Goof or a Zaku that could use a heat sword, you can get one right here, and this guy isn't gonna notice a thing. So overall, unless you're comparing it to insane deals like the Doben Wolf or the Gym Sniper K9, two models that were really at an insanely cheap price, this is overall a very good deal. And I said it was quite a bulky machine, so let's put it next to the Gym Custom, a standard mobile suit, and as you can see, it's much bigger, much bulkier. So, like I said, a lot more plastic goes into this thing, a lot more of those small parts, and overall, I would say it's definitely worth it. So let's put it next to a few more bulky machines. Here is next to the contemporary Zaku 3 and the Silver Bullet. As you can see, those three really have that awesome double Zeta bulk going on, and they look really, they look really nice together. And finally, here is next to two of his predecessors, the Dom, or to be specific, Char's Rig Dom, and the Juzram DS, which was of course also based on the original Dom design. So that's all for this review, and see you guys next time.